I heard Governor DeSantis say a couple of days ago that he is embarking on a project of tort reform. And the statement is that there's frivolous lawsuits. And, you know, I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm sure there's times when people bring a case that it turns out that it may not have been the best case to bring, but at the time they brought it, usually there's a basis for it. And the reason is because at the end of the day, the personal injury lawyer doesn't get paid unless there's a recovery, and they front in costs along the way. And so the plaintiffs' lawyers I know don't bring frivolous lawsuits because they can be out a lot of money when they lose. But one of the justifications for tort reform that's never made sense to me is that somehow frivolous lawsuits increase the cost of health care. It doesn't make sense to me for many different reasons, and there's never an explanation to this. The bottom line is if somebody's not working because a car accident or other type of personal injury, and a lawsuit's brought to help that person get the funds to go back to work, that lawsuit is also there because they don't have any way to pay for their medical care. Let's say they don't have health insurance. The personal injury lawsuit allows the doctor to go ahead with a certain surgery or other medical care that they otherwise wouldn't do on the bet that they're going to get paid out of the lawsuit. So that person then gets the medical care. It allows them to get back to work and become productive. So to me, in general, that has nothing to do with increasing the cost of health care, but it does put somebody back into the workforce. The other situation is somebody has health insurance, or they have Medicare, Medicaid, or they have workers' comp insurance, and that's paying for their health care. So the person's in an accident or has some sort of injury that's someone else's fault. The personal injury lawsuit is brought. Meanwhile, they're getting the care, and those other forms of insurance are paying for that care. Did you know that with every case that's settled, or there's a jury verdict, we, as personal injury lawyers, have an obligation to ensure that our clients' medical care that's paid for by those third-party sources is paid back. That's right. Every settlement or every verdict, every time that happens and medical care is incurred and it's paid by Medicare, Medicaid, private health insurance, or workers' comp insurance, out of that settlement or verdict, they're paid back. That means by paying it back, that lowers the cost of health insurance, not raises it. It lowers it because if the personal injury lawsuit wasn't brought, that care is still incurred. Those private sources of funding still pay for it, but because they're not paid back on a large-scale level, if you eliminate personal injury lawsuits, then they have to make up for it somewhere. They raise premiums. So if personal injury lawsuits are eliminated, that's what actually happens. It raises the cost of insurance. Personal injury lawsuits lower the cost of insurance. If anybody has an explanation that's different, I'd love to hear it. Before the legislature goes off and reforms personal injury, let's make sure they have the right basis. Contact your legislator and let them know.